Hello and welcome. My name is Zafar Iqbal, and you are watching the Mojo Story. On May 7, which is tomorrow on the Wednesday, India will conduct rare nationwide civil defense mock drills. Now, it's the most extensive since the 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War. Now, this follows the Pahalgam terror attack that killed 26 civilians, including 25 tourists. Now, the drills have been ordered by the Ministry of Home Affairs, and these include air raid sirens, evacuation rehearsals, and public training for wartime scenarios. Now, this is unprecedented in the sense that not even during the Kargil war were such drills executed. To discuss more on this, we're joined by an eminent panel. Let's introduce our panel. We're joined by Colonel M.S. Kullar. Welcome to the show, sir. And we're also joined by Rabinder Sachdev. Welcome to the show, Rabinder ji. If I may start with you, Kullar Saab, uh, this is unique in the sense that it's not happened since 1971 India-Pakistan war. How do you see such extensive drills taking place? How does this signal in military terms?
Brought in the introduction that this kind of an exercise at this scale is being ordered now by the MHA after 1971. You talked about the Kargil, and even during Oprakram in 2001 when the mobilization took place. Not only that, after that there have been numerous incidents of terrorist attack in Uri, Kaluchak, Pathankot. Such exercise has not happened. So ordering this exercise points towards what? Is it just a normal exercise? It is just a preparation, or is it in view of something we are expecting? And it is the outcome of the past few days of those meetings which have been held by the Prime Minister with the three chiefs, CDS, and the NSA. So this is definitely directly points to the outcome of the Pahalgam incident. So this is in line with various actions which have happened post 22, which have been taken by India, like holding in abeyance the IWT, then other issues of stopping trade with Pakistan, stopping other services with Pakistan. So it is in line with that. But are we now? The questions which arise are that uh, this kind of an exercise is ordered. Definitely it is for preparation. It is not for anything else, and it is direct in relation to the war. Though, as far as the mandate of civil defense organization is concerned, as we all know, it is a directorate under the MHA, and the boss is the director general. So the mandate is also the disaster management and also the internal security. So the notice which has been taken out yesterday, it didn't specify the states per se. What it said was the several border states. So what we can imply is it is more towards focused toward the border states like J&K, Punjab, Rajasthan, and Gujarat, and maybe few North India states. So it is a serious development which has happened as the outcome of Pahalgam. And the bigger question today is, everybody asking why not in the case of other terrorist incidents which have happened in the past, and why now this kind of a development? So it needs to be seen as the day go by.
Right. And we are also hearing that the NSA will be meeting the Prime Minister ahead of these defense mock drills. Rabinderji, is this purely precautionary or it's a preparation for some sort of a kinetic action that is being considered as a part of retaliation by India after the Pahalgam terror attack?
Thank you so much. A pleasure to be with you and Colonel Sahib. I think it is these two things, plus there are two more things. One is a psychological impact on Pakistan, that
Yeah.
we are preparing. I mean, we may actually not launch anything, but a clear signal to Pakistan and to the world that that's the level of our seriousness. One.
Yeah.
And secondly, I think actually in a bigger picture, it's towards strengthening and building more of a national character. It's
Right.
about that. It's about unity. It's also about recognition in the minds of people that war is a serious matter too, that we cannot be rushing into war because who knows tomorrow what outcomes come. So
Yeah.
stealing ourselves and our, uh, you know, our citizenry with respect to that. So
Yeah.
I look at it as a combination of these additional factors. Plus, like, okay, fine, we have to get used to some maybe mass
Yeah.
movements and mass mobilization. For
Yeah.
example, Indus Water Treaty, wherein we are talking about water diversion and all, it's not an overnight affair. It's
Yeah.
going to take a moon mission, solar mission kind of a energy dedication investments by India to build those diversionary systems in the next 10, 20 years, which we
Yeah.
can leave as a Brahmastra for our future generations. We don't
Yeah.
have that Brahmastra now. It's there. It
Right.
can be created. So I think a few such threads also tying in, national character. Yes, national character. That's what I would also look at.
Absolutely. And given that these drills have come in a scenario where Pakistan seems to be rattled and is sending out new threats almost on a daily basis. In fact, just a day ago, uh, one of Pakistan's ambassador issued a clear nuclear threat. If we can have that soundbite up before we go further.
Well, when it comes to India and Pakistan, we do not get involved into this debate of numerical strength. We in Pakistan will use the full spectrum of power, both conventional and nuclear. And I'll stop there.
Right. You heard this, Kulat Saab. He's clearly saying that it's clearly a nuclear threat. But coming back to the drills, in your experience, how effective are these drills in a real conflict when a real conflict is taking place? Because we know that this happened in 1971 conflict, that these drills were happening. Because today's scenario is different, especially missile and drone warfare that takes it into a different level. How effective would these drills be in the end? Or is it purely a psychological sort of a measure that's being undertaken?
Zafar, we had a lengthy discussion about the preparation part, on the other channel also.
Yeah,
खुदा ना खास्ता कल को लड़ाई होती है तो these kind of fears definitely exist. And after 1971 and the generation as Ravinder ji has brought out who were born after those years, they have not witnessed much of action on the battlefield and the war. So one issue what he highlighted, definitely the preparation is required.
right. We seem to have lost the audio with Kular Saab. Uh, we seem to have lost the audio with you, Kular Saab. If I may ask the same thing to you, Rabinder ji, how do you sense this situation?
If I gather the question you had for the Colonel Sahib,
Yeah,
my thought is that, and yours was how effective these drills are, right? So I was
yeah,
thinking,
yeah,
I would
yeah.
split them into two parts.
Right.
There will be some parts which will be useful and some
Yeah,
may not yield the proper results, right? For example, setting up of alarms, air raid sirens, fire brigade. By this drill, at least the fire brigade personnel get this in their mind that, something like this could happen. So they reorient the thinking. So some of these, services or agencies will be able to think out and plan out in this manner. Now, as to the citizenry, yes, we may listen to the air raid siren, we may rush, not rush where are the shelters. It may or may not be effective with respect to that. And how much infrastructure do we really have? Like if 1 million people have to go into bomb shelters in, let's say, New Delhi, where are the bomb shelters and are there any? Or rather to designate some, like for example, the metro system should be and would be designated as a shelter. So having some of these things definitely helps in the preparation to a certain extent.
Absolutely. And you put out an important point. This metro system can act uh, as a shelter at that point in time. That's very significant. But also, a couple of days ago, there was this blackout exercise carried out in Firozpur. So we're seeing all these steps being taken one after the other. So blackout protocols, uh, camouflaging installations, and these mock drills. Uh, so all of these are happening simultaneously at a time when India has already suspended the Indus Water Treaty, and that really has kept Pakistan guessing. It's been more than 12 days since this incident happened. We remember after the Pulwama terror attack, 12 days later, there was a Balakot. Now, more time has passed, and that's kept Pakistan guessing. But all other measures seem to have been taken or are in the process of being taken. The kinetic action has not happened. Kular Saab, how do you see this scenario? Because earlier Kargil was a limited warfare. The Pulwama happened, then there was Balakot. It was very, but now we're seeing these exercises being conducted in different states. It's being spread in a bigger and larger area. It looks like a preparation for a large scale escalation or war.
Is that the question to me?
Yes.
Um, the days will only tell us which direction are we moving. No, right now
Yeah.
these are few pointers. And the irony here is, it is not only it's a psychological pressure on the other side and training the civilians to be prepared for any eventuality. But let me tell you, I am sitting here in Punjab. It is also a quite psychological impact on the people who are in the border states. It is
Yeah.
not so easy, the kind of uncertainty, because it reminds us the days of 1971 war and 1961, because those days the other side, the capability of airstrikes, the night capability was not there. So invariably the air raids used to happen in the early morning hours or just before the uh, for the sunsets. So that time, these raids used to come, the siren used to be blown, and people used to go into the trenches. So people over there who are basically, born during those times and seen 71 are reminded of those days. Though definitely the younger population today, which is 65%, for them they cannot visualize. But overall, there is a sense of fear also. There is sense of anxiety also. Yes, we agree that when you have such neighbors, it is good to train your own people. But these kind of, I feel, knee-jerk reactions, and especially after Pahalgam incident, I don't understand which direction are they, pointing. Because these kind of preparations could have happened earlier also. Why now? Why now? Is it these are indication of something to our own people or onto the other side also. So there are many questions which are needs to be looked into. It is not so simple. You are preparing them. It is going to create chaos. The chaos has already started in the minds of the people, especially who are on the border states. Different kind of rumors are spreading, and let me tell you, this kind of information have not yet gone past to the majority of the civilians who stay in border states. So let us see, wait and watch what happens tomorrow. What is the outcome? What is the reaction of the people? I remember 65, 71 wars, even World War II bombs, they are still buried and lying in our country, in Northeast. There are numerous such incidents which have happened. So it is not only excitement. It is from the government of India. It is like a panic button for the border state people. So one needs to see these things from their perspective also.
Right, but the country is also preparing for an eventuality if there is a kinetic action that could possibly draw a retaliation from Pakistan. But Ravinderji, I want my producer to play the shots of Asim Munir standing atop tanks and addressing his troops. Now, those are the photos that have been released from Pakistan. There is messaging also from that side. You can see those visuals.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there is messaging from Pakistan, and Pakistan is also, marshaling its forces whatsoever it can. It is reordering supplies of, inventory, missiles or artillery, etc., from its suppliers in China, because in case of a war, it will need, and you have a certain amount of stock. Same would be for us also, right? We'll be lining up our supply chains from Russia, which is our weapon supplier, from France, from the US and Israel. These are the countries who supply us. Similarly, Pakistan is marshalling. They placed further orders on Turkey for more Bayraktar drones, etc. So Pakistan is very much signaling. And yes, in terms of what I mean, I think what this leads to is that perhaps this time something will happen in some scale. We don't know, but something has to happen. You see, there is pressure within India, amongst the people of India. uh, there is this whole thing with Pakistan, and there is also the question of India's, image in our immediate neighborhood. Bangladesh is looking, Nepal is looking, Sri Lanka is looking, Maldives is looking, right? So I think a collection of factors will perhaps take us down a path where India will hit a strike. One. Now, I think herein what we will be doing should be from a optopolitics and geo and diplomacy point. I think we should be, and I assume we are already talking to the Americans and telling them that, guys, look here, our doctrine is tit for tat. If we get hit, we will hit back. We have to even the score. This is language which Trump and his team they understand. Tit for tat, clear words, right? The question now is that when we do whichever aspect, how will Pakistan respond to it? We want you, America, to pressure Pakistan that the reaction of Pakistan should not be a wild spiral up. They sh- we understand they will have to react, save their face. It should be some reaction which is down spiral, maybe shoot some missiles in the jungles and claim we fired back at India. Otherwise, if Pakistan, reacts with a larger force, then of course we will also be pulled in and we will go with a far larger force. And that would be a war, perhaps, right?
Right.
And that would not be in your interest, Mr. America. This is an economic hit on India. This is an economic hit which prevents American companies in China from relocating to India, because with war-like situation in India, your American companies will not be able to, hop off of China. So this creates hurdles in your grand schema of things also. So therefore, America, you pressure Pakistan. Similarly, I think we should be, would be, and I assume are talking to the Saudis and Arab Emirates and telling them that we will act, but Pakistan's response should be much low down. I think that's one loop which should be happening amongst the multiple things that we are doing.
But that's a very important point that if India takes a kinetic measure, we don't know what that will be, where that will be, what time that will be purely for the people who are deciding and planning that. What is going to be Pakistan's response will indicate which direction we are going. Because if Pakistan's response is very unusual, very wild, then perhaps this could go out of hand. But if they have to do a face-saving response, some calculated, some, uh, you know, something to save their face, then perhaps these things can de-escalate. But the fact is that India will do something. Already, many measures have been taken which are non-kinetic. We'll talk about that. Indus Waters Treaty, most importantly. But Kulat Saab, not just Asim Munir standing atop tanks and addressing his troops. We're seeing almost on a daily basis Pakistan is firing, test firing missiles, and that project is called Indus. Again, we're seeing those missile tests taking place from Pakistani side. So also, there is again an inbuilt messaging in all of this. This is going to be different, unlike a Udi and a Balakot.
Zafar, these are very difficult questions you are asking. Number of incidents happened in the past. Has whatever actions we took while during Uri or during Pulwama, has it stopped Pakistan? There are many questions today which arise. Is Pakistan, whatever it is doing on its own, or there is some kind of a global powers who are playing and making Pakistan react in a manner? What is the timing of this incident? Why this incident has happened? Is it this war renting and this kind of hoo halla, both sides will happen for a month, which always happens? It happened during Kargil, it happened during Parliament attack. We lost 166 plus people during Mumbai attack. What happened thereafter? Nothing. So then we carried out these surgical strikes, which are more of a tactical or operational actions at the lower levels. And we called, okay, fine, we gave message to the Pakistan. Did these actions stop Pakistan from doing? What kind of options do we have? We need to understand who is controlling Pakistan. Today, everybody is looking for revenge. Everybody is talking in media houses of war, something happening. So this kind of euphoria gets created every time there is an incident. We lost 35 people in Chhattisgarh. Then we have lost many other people. And now we have lost 26 people. And suddenly this war cry has come up in the front scene, right? So what do we achieve? What do we achieve? What are the options available to us? Who is really controlling Pakistan? We need
But
to
that's
understand, the water is being controlled, but Pakistan, as we understand, is controlled by the people who stays in Punjab. The Pakistan army is dominated by Punjabis. The Pakistan politicians are dominated by the Punjabis. And 90% of these well-off Punjabis, they stay in UK and abroad. The poor people who are there are being used by various, these terrorist tanzeems or the agencies. So what is the center of gravity are we looking at to hit to put a stop? Or it is like a reaction and a reaction every time such incident happens, or we are playing into some kind of a trap. It's not easy to go into war. It's not easy to carry out these mock exercises.
right.
Pakistan is already a failed state. Look at their economy. Look at the water. As everybody you mentioned about IWT, the stoppage of water and diversion of water is not at all possible as of now, and maybe at a later stage also it is a very very big ask. But the question here is, yes, we can do some regulation of water, like what has happened day for yesterday and yesterday. They have flushed out the water on the Chenab dams to carry out the desilting. And what it's going to do is that it may cause some flooding on the Pakistan side. The people of Pakistan needs to understand who is going to suffer by these actions. Let us say the war takes place. Let us say the water is stopped from that side. Who is going to suffer? It is the people on both the sides of the border. The people who are behind all this, are they going to be taken to task? Are we going to
that
succeed in
that
that?
that,
So
that,
these
that
are very larger questions, Zafar.
that's a big question. And one thing is for sure that in Pakistan, this army is calling the shots. The government is just a rubber stamp uh, government. Rabinder ji, specifically about Indus Water Treaty, we saw yesterday Salal and Baglehar. I know I've seen Chenab. I reported all my reporting years from Jammu and from Chenab. It's a gushing river. It's a powerful river. And yesterday we saw people walking across that river bed. Uh, is this merely again symbolic, or these are practical strong measures that have been put in place to stop the water flow to Pakistan, or is it very temporary? It would need a lot of infrastructure and lot of time to actually do that.
Very true. Absolutely. I mean, it's a very, very difficult task. engineering wise, money wise, and even doable wise. Some of the terrains are such that you will not just be able to reach there, maybe. Now, that said, as of now, yes, maybe, desilting a dam, holding back some water, etc., these little we'll do. But if it really has to be weaponized, it will take time. That's why I was saying earlier, I think I said that we have to think of it like some moon mission. And I'm saying, let's put targets 30 by 30. That is 30% of these waters by 2030 can we, and 47 by 47, let's say, whatever, by 2047, 50% of the waters can we. Now, what can we means? Can we divert them? Can we link up irrigation canals with them? Okay, all of that, it will be a huge challenge. But, okay, so in 2047, our future generation will have that bomb if we can make it now, right? In a way that a tap turn on, turn off. Actually, that may not be even whatever, right? So, if as a nation we have to be doing something, thinking long, I think that should be our moon mission, to build this much and leave it for our future generations. Because you see, the issue with Pakistan will not vanish away. It will
Right.
be always there, hopefully not as sore as it is now. It will improve with time or whatsoever. We see, Pakistan has to learn to live and let live.
Right.
That is the core aspect. They have to learn to live and let live. So in the future also, I mean, there will maybe phases where something like this today, tensions are will arise in 2050 also maybe. So at that time, our next generation should have this Brahmastra with them. So it's the duty, I would say, of our present generation
Right.
to work hard, to invest and all, and to bequeath, to leave a potent weapon for our next generations. It's our duty.
Right. It may take many, many years. Kurat Saab, lastly, coming to you, we're seeing these measures have been taken, suspension of trade, Indus Water Treaty, and all of that. And there is posturing also now, these drills. Do you think all of this is sustainable in the long run, given the Indian economy? Uh, it is not like Pakistani economy, which has already failed. Indian economy is on a different track. Do you think it's sustainable in the long run?
More than sustainable, it doesn't go do good to us, because a neighbor which is already, it's a failed state, they will do everything to incite us. It will be foolish to get trapped and get into such kind of a scenario. That is number one. Secondly, there are measures which are being taken, and I think they are very sensible measures to force the establishment that controls Pakistan to bring them to table. Ultimately, it has to be a dialogue.
Uh,
By how we get them on the table, how do they come forward? So these are the various questions, and this is the challenge in front of the government of India. Whether can you sustain such a long war or not, that is a question to be answered at a later stage, and I feel that is not at all required. One point I want to mention here, Mr. Ravinder mentioned by 2030. That means we are looking at 5 years down the line to control 30% of water supply of the Indus basin. That means 135 million acre feet. 30% of that is, it amounts to almost 40, I would say 40 million acre feet. 40 million acre feet is equivalent to the water flow which is flowing in the eastern rivers, Ravi, Beas, and Satluj. As on today, other day also we spoke, as per the treaty, we are authorized to pondage 3.5 million acre feet. We have not been able to do it till now. And it is just 50 to 60, 70% of that. So to stop that much water and giving a false sense of hope is totally different. Yes, how we can use this water to bring Pakistan on the table is what is important. And on the table, we need those people who control Pakistan, their establishment, whether it's though we always maintain that we want to discuss as a democratic country with the democratically selected people on the other side of the fence. I think gone are those days. We need to take head on the people who control and bring them on the table. So the question here is, these small measures definitely will have impact, but ultimately it is the people of Pakistan, when they feel pinched, how do they put public pressure within their country? I feel the establishment, the army, or the army establishment which controls Pakistan is going to get impacted by this. So there has to be a global pressure. There has to be pressure, yes, from India, and there has to be a public pressure. Finally, it has to be a dialogue. Otherwise, Zafar, let me tell you, after 15 days, everything will come. It will become, another. We will all get busy into something else, into our normal lives, and then again wait for some incident like this to happen, and then the same ranting will start.
Right. Actually, I think the challenge is that what can be done to stop Pakistan from instigating another such terror attack? That's the million-dollar question. All those measures should be directed and concentrated on that point. That what prevents them from doing all of this again. But thanks so much,
One, la- one
Ravinder.
last one last
Yeah,
point,
yeah,
Zafar.
yes,
We
yes,
are it's almost 15 to 16 days into the Pahalgam incident happened, right?
yeah,
As we discussed other day, the National Investigation Agency is already doing its job, but it is now time that something should come out of the investigation. Are these measures a sort of a diversion to the investigations? Because ultimately somebody has to fix the accountability also. We talk about intelligence failure. We spoke about the security forces failure. It is not that the lower level or the ground level commanders, their heads are rolled. The accountability at the highest level has to be established. Every incident when it happens, be it Mumbai attack, be it Pahalgam, be it Pulwama, the investigation till today we are not. It has not come out in open domain from where that 40 kilo RDX came.
right.
Who
I'm
brought it?
sure.
But
I'm
ultimately, what is happening is we are losing life of a
right.
common citizen.
It is a multi-pronged challenge. Of course, there is terrorism within Jammu and Kashmir. There is infiltration at the line of control. There is a Pakistan. There is ISI, which is promoting all of this. So it has to be dealt in that way only. But thanks so much, Kular Saab and Rabinder ji, for joining us today and for sharing your thoughts. And thanks to our viewers for watching the Mojo Story.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.